Hi, I'm Mike and I'm the Hallows Geek, and welcome to my second Halloween haul of the 2022 Halloween shopping season. I'm back. This time it's a bit of a mixed bag of stuff. I've been doing a lot of Halloween hunting lately. If you follow me on social media, you've likely noticed that. And I've still been pretty selective. I talked about this in my last Halloween haul video. I've been trying to be really selective this year with what I get. So you'll notice it's kind of like a thing here, a thing there from different stores, but I still want to show it off, show you what I'm getting. As a bonus, I'm also going to be showing off some of the stuff I picked up at Midsummer Scream, which is, of course, the giant Halloween and horror convention that took place in the Long Beach last weekend. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the Midsummer Scream stuff because obviously the event just happened, and then I'll get into the Halloween haul. So first and foremost, I always buy the event shirt at Midsummer Scream. This is from Tino Evil, and here it is again. This is the shirt I got. Like I said, I get these every year just to kind of, it's my takeaway from the event. So I did get that. I was at Midsummer Scream. I was actually really selective as well this year. There was a ton of art that I could have picked up. There's always so many talented and incredible artists at Midsummer Scream on the vendor floor, but I had to be really selective. If you follow me on socials, you'll know one of my favorite artists, and she's a local artist who goes by Bat in Your Belfry on social media. I did pick up some prints of hers. So this is the first one here. If you can see that, it is clearly a Haunted Mansion inspired print with the hitchhiking ghosts in the Doom buggy with a couple of ghosts peeking out of the back there. So this was the first print I picked up. I saw this one and I just couldn't pass up on it when I had seen her post about that. The second one was actually a print of the piece that she did for the Museum of Halloween that Midsummer Scream did this year, which was essentially a two-part kind of curated art exhibit and vintage Halloween museum. So on one side, it was a bunch of vintage Halloween, and you can actually do a walkthrough of both. I'll put a link to my Midsummer Scream video, and you can actually see the whole thing. But it was a ton of vintage Halloween decorations, costumes, things like that on one side. And then the other side was basically a collection of artist pieces that reminded them of Halloween when they were younger, or at least that was kind of the theme of the exhibit. So Michelle did a piece, Michelle being Bat in Your Belfry, she did a piece for the exhibit. And I just loved this. This was very much me. So you can see the haunted house, the orange haunted house tape. I played that thing to death as a kid. I had a jack-o'-lantern, trick-or-treat pill just like this. So I was just totally feeling this piece when I saw that she did it. And had to pick up a print of this. She obviously had an original in the actual exhibit, but they were selling prints, so I picked that up. So Michelle got two out of me this year, but she's probably used to that by now. I always pick up a little something from her just because I love her style of art so much. The second thing I picked up is from another local artist who goes by the name of Spooksy Boo, and she also puts on a number of events in the area, but she put out a book called Halloween Night. And it looks like this. It's just a children's book with, her original kind of Spooksy Boo character and Willow, who is this character here. And it's just a children's book. It literally, has them on Halloween night going trick-or-treating. It's a typical kids book, but it was fun. One of the things I do collect, if you weren't familiar with this, is I do collect children's Halloween books. So this was right up my alley, and I really like the artwork. I've picked up some of Spooksy Boo's pieces in the past. And one of the cool kind of bonus things about this is when I picked up the book, I also scored this awesome tote bag, treat bag, with all these cute little characters on this. So that was a nice little bonus. So that was fun. But that was definitely not the only book I picked up. Because Austin Pardon, who is another artist whose work I love, the whole aesthetic of his style of mixing kind of that vintage Halloween style. There's something about it that gets me every time. I think there's yet to be a piece he has shared online or put out on, be it a shirt, be it a poster, be it whatever it is that he's doing, that I haven't, fallen in love with. And he doesn't make it to West Coast conventions all that often. So he happened to be out for this one and actually released a hardcover book with a bunch of his art in it. So this is his book. And he actually released some online afterward. I don't know if they're still available, but you might want to check his socials if you're interested in this. I know he released some. But it came with that. He was cool enough to sign it, which is awesome. And then he also, these bookmarks were included with it. So that's super cool. And then to top it all off, he too threw it in a bag. So we've got this awesome part-on bag that's got some of his artwork on it. If I can get it up here, there we go. Now look at that, another kind of tote bag. So apparently tote bags were the theme this year, and this is just filled with my leftover kind of junk from Midsummer Scream. But this was probably the biggest score from the event. Like I said, he's another artist whose work I love. It took everything in me not to buy multiple prints, but at this point, like I said, I'm being really selective about art because I don't know where I'm going to put it all or if I'm going to be able to put it anywhere. So that was my Midsummer Scream haul. Again, pretty limited this year just because I'm trying to not go crazy this year in terms of buying. So let's dive into the actual Halloween stuff. And I think what I'll start with is Tuesday morning. Because that's probably the furthest back that I went to. So I went to Tuesday morning, checked out some of their stuff. Didn't have a whole lot that I was really interested in this year. But again, mentioning that I'm into vintage Halloween, I did come across these two hot chocolate cans. So here's the first one with the ghosts. Total vintage vibe with these. And then there's this one with the kids trick-or-treating. And just overall, I just dug the look of these. I dug the color scheme of these. It totally felt like a, 70s or 80s kind of vintage Halloween look. So I picked those up. I don't know if I'll actually use the hot chocolate or just store the cans. These were $4.99 each if you like those and you're curious about getting them. But these are definitely going to be decor more than they're going to be used for food. So that is that. Where do I want to go next? Let's go to Marshall's because that's another place that I only got kind of a single item. So my wife and I picked this one up. I keep talking about how much I don't love Ray Dunn stuff. And then here I am getting another piece. But this one says Witch's Brew. What kind of sold us on this one is one, it says Witch's Brew and it's a pitcher. But on the back, you can see it actually has, kind of a recipe for a Witch's Brew. Which was kind of cool. So we couldn't pass up on this when we saw it sitting there. We're like, oh, this is a must-have. So this one was $20, which isn't, for what it is, it's, ceramic, $20 pitcher. I don't think we can argue with that price tag. So that was cool. But again, this year Ray Dunn's making a liar out of me because I'm like, I don't really love this stuff. And then here I am, picking up more and more of her stuff this year. But here we are. Next place I wanted to show something off from is Joann Fabric. So if you follow me on Instagram, I had a little bit of beef with Joann this year, and that's because Joann's prices have gone insane. The one item in particular I called out was a $120 plastic jack-o'-lantern, which there was nothing special about it. It was just big, but it was plastic, generic face. It didn't even do anything fancy. And that's crazy. And everything else felt really overpriced. However, I did pick up an ornament there that wasn't too terribly priced. It was $10, which some people might say that's crazy. But I collect black cats, and this guy was just too much not to pass up on, if you can see that. He's super fun. And the nice thing is he also lights up. So let me see if I can, oh yeah. So he also lights up, if you can see that. I don't know how well you can see it with the light, but here, let me see if I can switch it off. So here it is, off, and then back on again. So I thought for 10 bucks, that wasn't terrible. And again, I collect black cats. So this was right up my alley. I couldn't really pass up on this guy. So he was cool enough. Otherwise, There was a lot of stuff at Joann that we liked, especially some of the witchy stuff they have this year. The prices are just astronomical. We couldn't bring ourselves to buy a lot of it. So if you've got the budget, you've got the bank account, and you know you can go to Joann. You do you. There are some great things there. Like I said, the witchy stuff in particular this year is really cool. It just wasn't in the cards for us. So that's it from Joann. I guess the next thing I'll look at is the 99. No, I'm going to go Dollar Tree first. So Dollar Tree, most of the stuff we picked up here was actually food related. They have some really cute, if that's the word we want to go for, spoopy, whatever you want to call it. You know, things for like cupcakes or cakes or things like that. So if you're entertaining, and I think I talked about this before, you know, my wife and I, now that our kids are getting older, are hoping to get to a point where we can start entertaining again. So we're starting to pick up some of this stuff. And these were really cool. So if you can, I'm going to try and get these the best I can. These are bats, and they're actually like wood. So these are legit, like wooden little bats on the top of these giant toothpicks. And they had 3 different styles, or actually they had more than 3 styles. We got 3 different styles. So they had the bats. Then they also have these skulls, if you can see those. So these are the skulls, just little gray skulls. I really liked the design of these. And again, these are all like wood. This isn't plastic, this isn't paper. These are actually wooden little toothpicks. And then of course I can't pass up on a jack-o'-lantern. So they had jack-o'-lanterns as well. Same thing, all wooden. And again, they had a few other designs there. We just didn't pick those up. These are the ones we liked the most. But for being Dollar Tree, I think these were only $1. So those were kind of cool. The other thing that we picked up were some cupcake wraps. And we always like stuff that's got kind of that gothy vibe to it. You know, that tends to be how, you know, when we used to entertain and throw parties, how our you know, decor skewed. So we're always kind of keeping an eye out for that. And for this next one, I'm going to put a little backdrop here so you can kind of see what I'm showing you. So these are cupcake wraps. The first one here is bats. So if you can see that there, you know, you wrap around the cupcake, and the top design there are bats. And I'm hoping you can see this. It's really hard with the glare, I know. But the little bats up top. The second one we got were spider webs, and it's the same kind of deal. And again, I'm hoping this backdrop is helping a little bit, but it's a spider web design right there. And the last one is a graveyard. So you got the ghosts coming out of the tombstones. Hopefully, yeah, I think you can see that a little bit there. The ghosts coming out of the tombstones. So again, not bad for being Dollar Tree. Like these were, and it's a pretty sturdy paper, so it's not like cheapy and really flimsy. So that was kind of exciting from that standpoint. So that's kind of cool. You know, Dollar Tree is always really hit or miss, and I know a lot of you don't have Dollar Trees where you're at. But if you do have one, they seem so far they didn't have all of their stock in, but this food-based stuff was actually really cool. So that's why we picked it up. Okay, kind of sticking with the dollar theme. The other place that we recently picked up stuff is 99 cents only. So the first thing I picked up, and again, I'm a sucker for pumpkins, is I picked up this little jack-o'-lantern. And he was just 99 cents. And he turned, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but he actually turns colors. So he goes from like red to green to blue. I don't think it's showing up on camera that well. But it is just a stupid little jack-o'-lantern. But I'm a sucker for jack-o'-lanterns, so I picked that up. He was only 99 cents, so I wasn't out a whole lot for that. Sticking with the theme of jack-o'-lanterns, though, I also picked up this guy. There's nothing special about him. I just liked the design. I like simplistic jack-o'-lanterns, and sometimes they look better than others. And for whatever reason, I like this one. It's an actual pail. So he's not just a static jack-o'-lantern, so you can put stuff inside of him or use him to trick or treat. This was $1.29, so you know 99 cents only is a liar now, and it's never 99 cents only, but that is what it is. I also picked up this little bag of tiny jack-o'-lanterns, not the same face, but I still liked the design of these enough that I'm like, I could use these for something, because again, jack-o'-lanterns are a bit of my thing. The other thing we picked up, and again, making liars out of this was actually $9.99, as you can see here. but it's this tray, and it's two-tiered. And on the top of it here, you have, if you can see that, a raven. We actually discovered after we bought this one on a subsequent trip that they actually have one same style. So it's this two-tier tray that looks like a, you know, some sort of fencing that has a bat on top. We didn't wind up buying the bat ones because the two that they had there were kind of, I don't know, the design of the bat was kind of weird. It looked like it had been cut weird or molded weird, and we just weren't too keen on it. So we stuck with just the raven here, or crow, or whatever he is. But this was kind of cool, and for $10, and it's metal, so it's not, you know, it's sturdy enough for what it is. So that was kind of neat. We picked that up. Let's see what else we've got here from 99 cents only. Oh, these trays. So these were $1.49. Oh yeah, you can see it a little bit. So the tray has this print on it with skulls and crystals and moons and just various different designs in the print there that we just couldn't pass up on. Like, these were too cool, and for $1.50, like, this is the perfect. We wound up buying two of them, but these are the perfect thing to, you know, to have out for a party, to put food on, whatever. And just the design was so fun. And for $1.50, you don't always find, you know, good designs like that. They tend to be a little more, you know, generic, or a little kind of, I don't even know the word, cheesy looking, for lack of a better way to put it. So that's that. Moving on, my most recent run, which you likely saw on the channel this weekend, was for Spirit Halloween. So Spirit Halloween was somewhere that I went a little bit more overboard, if you want to call it that. They had a lot more that I was interested in this year, worth picking up. You know, thankfully in past years I picked up some of the things I really wanted, like the vintage dolls, the vintage masks, things like that. But they had a handful of new items that I wound up grabbing. So first and foremost, and again, if you watched my walkthrough video of my local Spirit Halloween, you saw me pick this up. Which, if you haven't seen that, I'll add a link to that as well, so you can check that out. I do a walkthrough of all the animatronics and all the different kind of themed areas with merchandise, and my store is actually pretty well stocked, so you'll get a good idea of what they have this year. But anyways, one of the first things I picked up was, which I explained in the video, is a magnet set, not just a set of small, you know, singing bus statues from the Haunted Mansion. You know, at first I wasn't sure if I was going to grab them, but the more I sat there and looked at them, I'm like, I need to get these. You know, even though they're magnets, I'm pretty sure they'll still stand up because they do have a pretty decent sized base on them. So I'm hoping I'll be able to take them out, set them up, and display them without any issue. But that was the first thing I picked up. These were only $15, which, considering I'm pretty sure they're like ceramic or some sort of resin or something like that. Like, I don't know what they're made of, but maybe it says, oh yeah, 5 resin magnets, says it right on the back. So they're resin, so they're sturdy. For $15 for 5 of them, I mean, it's like $3 a piece. That's a steal for a licensed product from Disney at that. That's a steal. So picked these guys up. Sticking with the theme of the Haunted Mansion, you probably saw this in my video as well. It is the door hanger, and these are based off the bat stanchions that appear in the attraction. This thing is incredible, and it's also very heavy. I'm not sure what it's made of. This one actually doesn't say on the back what it's made of. But I don't think it's metal, but it's definitely sturdy. And this looks incredible. I mean, look at the detail on this. If you've been to the Haunted Mansion, this looks straight out of the attraction. There's no... It doesn't... You know, it's pretty flawless. Like, it looks like something you would see in the attraction. Like, they didn't skimp on the design for this. And I think that's incredible. This one obviously costs a little bit more. This was $25. But it does come on a metal chain, so you can hang it if you choose to, you know, however you want to display it. You can hang it like that. But this was too cool to pass up on. I'm a huge Haunted Mansion fan. And I always like finding stuff like this that feels like it's from the attraction. I know a lot of times we get stuff that's, you know, based off the attraction, but it doesn't really carry over that vibe or that look, and that's pretty solid. What else we got? Oh, this one. So going with kind of the vintage vibe, and obviously I also like, you know, the classic monsters. I couldn't pass up on this Frankenstein's monster sidestepper that they had this year. I don't recall seeing him in past years. It's very possible he was there, but this is the first year I have seen him. And you push the little button on his foot, and here he goes. So you get the gist of it. He, you know, moans and groans and rocks back and forth. But this was kind of fun. I don't remember how much we paid for this, and I took him out of his box, so I'm not sure what we paid for him. But I don't think it was too unreasonable for what he is. But yeah, he's just a little Frankenstein's monster. His arms do flex a bit and do move a bit. So that is him. But one more thing I actually realized that I didn't show you was from Joann. So I picked up two things at Joann. I picked up that ornament, but then I also picked up this box. I forgot about this. I saw it sitting there when I was putting some stuff away. So Joann always has some of these like storage boxes that, you know, they have the magnetic flap, and then they open up, and then you can store whatever in size, and they come in, you know, 5 million different sizes, and they all stack within one another. I picked up a few in the past, but this was the only one that really caught our eye this year. I think this one, and there was a jack-o'-lantern one, which I kind of liked, but I wound up passing up on. But these aren't too expensive. This was $12.99 for this one, and it's got the bats all the way around. It's got the bat print, and then of course on the top it's got the bat print. So we just really like this. It's funny enough, you know, I joked in my last haul video that this is apparently the year of the bat for us, because a lot of the stuff we're getting has been bats, and sure enough, the trend continues here with the bat box, you know, the bat station from the Haunted Mansion, the bat, were there bat cupcake? Yeah, there were bat cupcake things. So it's going bats around here. So that is, I believe, it. Yeah, that's it for this haul. Again, this was kind of peppered with stuff from all over the place. Obviously, Halloween hunting season is not over. You know, I didn't get to go out as much this past weekend as I would have liked, but I'm sure I will be going out later this week and next weekend, which I'm sure we'll find more. But for now, this is my second haul. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you saw that you liked, or if you've picked up something similar. And until next time, keep it creepy.